Hey everybody, this is the DNA girl, aka Lady. I am coming back to you with an update. I'm going to take my glasses off because in the last couple of videos, well, the last video and videos I've done in the past, it drives me crazy when you have that light in your glasses. It irks me. And the whole time I was seeing that light, and of course it irked me. So I took off the glasses. So no glasses. Okay. And also, what I want to do is I want to make some corrections from the video we did last time. First off, um, I mentioned that there was only an uncle and an auntie by marriage that I care about what they think. That's not true. I have It's easier to say who I'm not close to. So I have a few aunties that don't really particularly talk with me. Um, and these are the aunties. Well, one of them is an auntie that I don't really necessarily particularly care for because she has that predisposition of hurting people. I'll leave it at that. And the other auntie, I had a relationship with her, but she just something changed inside of her. She wants nothing to do with me. And so those two I don't fool with. And I have one uncle, and then I told you the mother, I mean the auntie by marriage. That's it. So I wanted to make sure I made that correction. I have a dry erase board over here, so I'm looking at my dry erase board, trying to see what other corrections I have. Also, in the very end of the first video that I recorded, I mentioned that I don't care how you feel. And that is true, but I want to make sure that I'm clear that I care about how you feel as it pertains to your support, right? I want all the support that I could possibly get. I want your support. I want your encouragement. I want your comments. I want you to help me make this video the best video that it could possibly be, the best page, site, podcast, whatever you want to call it. I need help. I need a whole lot of help, and so I do care about how you feel as pertains to that. What I don't care about is the negativity. You getting on here being keyboard assassins and saying whatever you feel like you can say because you think you won't be checked. Those are the individuals that I don't particularly care for or don't care about how you feel. So if that person is you, then you're probably going to be met with either a delete key or just me completely ignoring you. So, yeah. So I wanted to make sure that was clear. Now, the other thing that I wanted to talk about is in the video I was talking about. At the very end, I said he even knew my auntie. Well, he being the young man that we are working towards finding out if he's my father, he did. He mentioned that there was a young lady that he think was my mother's sister that used to come by my mother's home, and I mentioned my other auntie, and which is my mother's biological sister, and he said no, that's not her name. Well, there is another auntie that she is my auntie in every way that matters, but my grandmother didn't biologically give birth to her, but she raised her. And so this Auntie Renee, adored my mom. If you met my mother, you would adore her too. She adored my mom, and she followed my mother everywhere she could go, from a young little girl to most of her adulthood. They have always had this very close relationship. She has since passed away. Last year she passed away, unfortunately, and the sting is still there. We miss her so much. Um, and so when I mentioned her name, he was like, "Yeah, that's her." And I'm like, "Wait, you remember my auntie Renee?" And that like blew my mind that he would remember my auntie Renee. And he described her. He was like, "Yeah, she was a little skinny, light skinned girl with a fair skinned girl, light skin. I forgot what word he used, with nice hair." And I was like, "Yeah, that's my auntie," because my auntie is biracial. Um, he was like, "Yeah, that's her. She used to always come by there," and I'm going to keep laughing because it's funny, but it's not. But I'm so excited and so happy, so I giggle a lot. Anyway, so that's the other correction or update that I wanted to give you as far as what we talked about last week. Now, since then, I've gotten a lot of help and support, and the reason why this video didn't come out sooner, and I was waiting for some feedback from more of you, in particularly because I wanted to know how to make this the best that I could possibly make it. So I didn't want to just ask for help and then didn't listen to it. So I was waiting, and some of the things start trickling in. So that's the reason why I was delayed. But also, in those inquiries and those feedbacks, one of the questions that kept coming up was, what did my mom say? And I think I told you guys, but I'm going to make it very clear now. I asked my mother, and she told me that there was no way that anybody was going to be my father. I think I told you guys I texted her the name of somebody that I found randomly on Yahoo that potentially could be, because the young lady that showed us my half niece, if I trickled down to her family, he would have been my father. And so she didn't recognize the name, and I said, okay. And that's it. Have not spoken to her about it again. Have not said anything else to her. Have not asked her any more questions. That was it. And the real reason behind that is, sorry, I've been sick this week, so you might can hear me a little nasal. So this is tea. This is just tea. Okay, hold on. So my throat doesn't get too dry and I start talking like a baritone. But that was it. I have not said anything else to her about this. Have not asked her any more questions. And it's basically because I want to have definitive answers before I come back to her again. So that brings us up to where we are today. So where are we today? Well, let me bring you up to where we are today as far as where we left off on the last episode. So I told you I contacted two of my brothers, my eldest brother and one of the twins. So he's right up under my eldest. I'm not sure which twin was born first, but he's right up under him. And he says, the eldest brother, to today's date, have not responded back to me. Yo, you saw my text message. Why are you ignoring me? Do better. All right. He ignored me, y'all. Anyway, and he didn't know why I was asking. I just asked a random question. But he usually will respond because he likes stuff like that. But the twin, he didn't respond that night. It was kind of late. He goes to bed when the street lights come on. So the next day, he called me. It was like 7 o'clock in the morning. No, he texted me. He was like, yeah, why? I was like, because the question, as a reminder, was, did we live on this street? And his response was, yeah, why? So I picked up the phone and called him because this ain't a text conversation. So I said, so we did live on the street? He was like, yeah, you remember? I was like, no. He was like, well, you may not have been born yet. And if so, you probably was just born. So I guess you wouldn't remember that. But yeah, we used to live on that street. We used to live in an apartment on that street. And I said, oh, okay. I said, did Big Mama live near us? Yeah, she lived right across the street. Go across the street, 3 doors door. That was Big Mama's house. We was in the apartment right there on the corner. This man told me all of this. He said, your grandma used to live across the street and y'all lived on the corner. And so I'm on the phone with my brother like, wow, this is The Twilight Zone kind of thing, right? So I told him, I said, okay, all right. I said, I don't remember that. He said, well, you may have not been born yet. He says, but since then, the apartment is now gone. He said he still drives by the street. Big Mama house is still there. Big Mama moved away. And I told you guys, I remember the house growing up, but Big Mama moved away when I was maybe 10, 10 or 11 years old. I remember going with her. Anyway, so my brother, so he finally said, why? And so I had to tell him because number one, I'm excited. And number two, I need answers. And so I explained to him what happened with this ancestry results. And he was like, nah, this can't be true. You must be mistaken. I was like, it can't be. He described what you just told me. He told me the house. He told me Bema used to live across the street. He knew Auntie Renee. He was like, no, because we lived there with our daddy. And I think I made that correction that all of them, 6 children, 5 have one father. I'm the only one with a different father. And my mother left her husband and married what I thought was my dad. So anyway, and so he was like, that can't be because we lived there with our daddy. I said, well, it got to be true because I exist. So at some point, she wasn't with him because I exist. Can you touch me? I'm here. I exist. So then he says, he was like, I don't know about this. This is crazy. This is crazy. I was like, I know, right? So he says, well, how you find this out? You know, he had all these questions. So his takeaway from me was not to say anything to my mom. He says, find out for sure what's going to happen with it. And I said, okay. And if you knew my mother, she's not the type of person to deal with anything that's not definitive. She's, I guess you want to call her black and white, but she's very artistic. So she's not really black and white, but she doesn't deal with woulda, coulda, shoulda. She deals with what is. So, and that's the way you will have to approach her. So he said not to say anything until you had definitive answers, which was my intention as well. And then my sister, so those 2 people in my entire family that I've talked to about this, my sister said the same thing. And listen, I love my mother. Let me get close to you. I can see my face. I love my mommy. I spent majority of my life wanting to be her. Okay? I wanted to sing like her. I don't know how to play nothing that looked like a keyboard or an instrument. My voice was my instrument, but I wanted to be her. Everything she did, I did. Everywhere she went, I went. I was her mini me. I love my mother. I don't ever want to cause any distress or anything to my mom, and I don't want to embarrass my mom. So this podcast is not to embarrass her. It's more to share my story. And I think that it's important to say that because I don't want anybody going away thinking, "Ooh, she telling on her mom." It's not about her. It's about me. So you probably won't hear much about her unless it's something that needs to be said. But I won't have a conversation with her until I have definitive answers. Um, and the other reason for not really bringing this up to her is because I don't have the luxury to judge. I know other people do. I don't know why you have it, but I don't have the luxury to judge her. I don't know what was happening back then. I don't know her circumstances, her situation. And I would love to know how I came into this world, but I want to know from a place of love. I hold no animosity whatsoever towards my mother. None whatsoever. I don't hold any. I don't have the luxury to do so. And this is exciting good news. And I don't know why I wasn't raised with my new family that I'm finding, but I believe everything has its purpose, and it was the will of God for it to be this way. If not, it wouldn't have happened this way. The universe always knows what to do, when to do it. So I don't sit on the seat of judgment. And I hope that you guys won't judge her either, because she had her reasons, her motives. And for what I can remember, my mother's always been extremely protective over us. So I trust that she thought she was doing what she thought was the best thing at the time. And maybe she just didn't know. I don't know. I don't want to say I don't care, but it's not about why she did it. I just want to know how. How did tell me, how did you meet him? You know, the girl stuff. Cause me and my I told y'all, me and my mama watch a lot of soap operas, right? So this, honey, is drama. I don't watch reality TV. Who knew I was living in my own version of reality TV? So yeah, I am excited that I'm even. This is even an option, and so that's where we are now. So I told you that my brother um, kind of brought some things back for me and explained some things to me about that property, and that helped. So I immediately text young man and told him, my brother did remember that. He was like, I'm fairly certain this is her. I'm fairly certain this is her. Only other one person this could be. And if it was, I'm a dig. This crazy man said, I'm a dig him up from his grave, and he gonna have to answer to me. That how he got my woman from up under me. I gotta find this out. So anyway, so um, the next step was, I did not want to wait for ancestry. I told you guys we ordered him an ancestry test, right? Ancestry is on a different time zone than any other business ever, because you send your ancestry test, you may get results 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks later. So don't think that's a quick, you send that test in and you go on about your business, because they are in no hurry. No, well, and it's the Mormon church, I think, that handles the ancestry test. Um, no, they ain't in no hurry. So don't wait for those results if you're trying to find out something fast. But I wanted to know fast, so I wanted to buy a DNA test. I don't know if you guys know this. You can go to any pharmacy and buy a DNA test. And my particular pharmacy didn't have the type of DNA test, because I think you could do DNA tests now when the baby's still in your body. I ain't in my mama's body no more. I didn't know. I guess me being grown, I ain't in there no more. So I needed to order a separate test. So I ordered the test. Since the store didn't have it, so I ordered the test and it came to me. But it came to me the day that I was leaving for work. So I got the test in the mail, picked it up, put it in my luggage, and headed to the airport. While I was in Dominican Republic, I took my portion of the test. I didn't video it. Um, and it gives you a portion for yourself, your father, and you. So it's mother, father, child. So it's 3 tests. I don't necessarily need my mother's result. Ancestry confirmed that she's my mom. But so I took my portion of the test, and I closed it up, put it back in its original box. And when I got back to the United States, I went immediately to the post office so that I could mail my portion and he could do his portion and he could mail it off to the DNA people. Hopefully you guys follow that. So when I got to the United States, I immediately put in my GPS to find me the post office closer to me and my husband's house. And so, because there's a whole bunch of little post office, but I wanted one in the city before we came into my city, because I think the parking was probably better, because these inner cities, most of these post offices don't have parking lots. So you park on the street. So I knew there was one that they may have some street parking. So I went to that one, and I put it in a priority box. And then I went up there and I got a young lady that was a sister. So I'm on cloud 9. You guys know I'm excited, nervously excited, right? So I'm on cloud 9. So I went and I saw her, and I was asking her about pricing for how much this was going to cost. And she was like, it was 12, almost $13 for it. And I was like, okay. I said, but how much would it cost to get there the next day? And then she said it was like $30. I said, so when would the priority mail get there? Because this is Wednesday morning. She said, well, it'll get there, no, Friday or Monday. I'm like, dang, do I want to wait that long? Because once they receive the results, it's like 24 to 48 hours before you'll be able to see it on the module. So I'm like, I want to know now, yesterday. So I said, okay, let's send it next day. And so the girl was like, well, what is it? So I guess she was trying to figure out how to help me. I was like, it's a DNA test. And she was like, oh, okay. And then she kind of looking at me like, okay. And I was like, yeah. I said, I need to get it to my dad, my possible dad, ASAP. And she was like, okay. She says, well, if you decide to do it next day, you have to change the envelope, the boxing, the packaging for it. And I was like, okay. I'm like, Friday or Monday or Thursday is what I'm thinking in my head. I'm like, Thursday, because if he get it Thursday, he can mail it back Friday, or even Thursday, he can mail it back. They'll have it. We'll have the results by Tuesday at the latest. You know, that's what I'm thinking in my head, Tuesday or Wednesday. So I decided to do that. So then she said something, and I said, yeah, I need this result to get there. I need to know this information ASAP. And she was like, okay. It was just a look on her face, and I just spilled my little quick spill of why I was doing this. And I told her, Ancestry messed up my life. And when I say that, it's true. Ancestry messed up my life. I was not looking for this, expecting this. Nothing in my head said that my life was getting ready to be changed, messed up, rearranged, just throw into chaos. Nothing prepared me for this. So, but it messed up my life in a good way. I must say that this is the best surprise ever. And so she was like, wait, what? And I told her, she was like, ooh, girl. She said, so you sent him this DNA test? And I was like, yeah. She said, girl, you got to come back and tell me everything that happened. Make sure you tell me what's happening. And, you know, she was so invested in my story. And it was real. Like, she really wanted to know. Like, we had patrons behind us, customers behind us, and I'm finishing up because I had to walk over to the other side and change the packaging, so you had to redo the box. So I'm doing this, and as I'm writing, she asking me questions and helping patrons or customers. She's helping them at the same time, and I'm writing it down, and we getting it in because she is very invested. The reason why I brought that up is that she's actually the core reason when it finally clicked that I needed to make this into a podcast, a series. I need to put this out there because if this stranger who has no vested interest in me was that excited, I'm like, other people may be excited because I know I am. So I was like, well, I'm not going to remember to go to that post office. I'm not going to remember to call all my friends. I'm not going to remember to update everybody. I'm going to forget. I've already forgot who I told what to. Listen, as much as I tell everybody I got a memory like an elephant, well, that elephant is kind of dwindling. And so I won't remember who. I literally have to take notes of who I talked to about what. So I don't want to do that. So she was really the catalyst for this. So thank her that I'm here, if you want to thank her. But anyway, so I shipped it off to him express. It was supposed to be 2 days. I, told her, okay, girl, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Got in my car, went home, and finally looked at my receipt. My receipt shows it was going to get there Friday. Now, I know I said that I wanted next day. I paid $18 more for next day. I could have went to FedEx and got it overnighted and used my discount, but I didn't, right? I called myself doing the fastest method possible for the time that I had available. So anyway, I was going to get there Friday. I'm already at home. I had just got work. I'm tired. I wasn't about to go back up there and find out what was going on. So I just said, okay, it'll get there Friday. Let's pray that it get there the next day. Friday came. Friday went. No test had been delivered. It hadn't even left my state. So now in back of my mind, I'm thinking they lost my test. That happens a lot with me in my post office. Y'all post office is superior. Mine, it sucks, bubble guts. Um, yeah, so I thought it was lost. So I had made up my mind by Monday morning, if it wasn't received, I was going to have to go to the post office, put in a claim, get my money back, put the claim in to get the money because, they guarantee it up to a certain amount. So I was just going to get that money and then just get another test and start all over again. So I felt so defeated. And Saturday, I just so happened to check it. I put the thing in the USPS for it to tell me the updates, but it didn't. And so that Saturday I woke up and went to go check it. It left my state and it was in the state that he lived in. So the major city that he lived in is where it was. I'm like, oh, good, they didn't lose it. So I breathed breathed a really deep breath. Was very upset still, but I'm grateful that he's going to get it. That at least they didn't lose it because that was going to be more time. I got to do this all over again. So in a few minutes, you guys are going to see the video of him getting the test out of the mailbox, him taking the test, and him, that kind of thing. I'm going to speed it up because he literally is showing you swap, 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 swap. But I'm only including this in it so, number one, you can have proof that he did it. But number two, he's funny. He's making jokes the whole time. And it's just funny to watch him. And I hope you guys can find him as hilarious as I have found him. So I wanted you guys to see see his personality. He's funny. He really is. And so you're going to see that video, and I'll probably plug it in about right now or something like that. I don't know, but I'm going to insert that in here.
But I'm going to go see about it right now in hopes that it's there because I was told it was there. Hey, Mr. Mailbox, you got a package for me? Hey, you better. And she do. Okay, here we go with part two. I'm presently opening up this paternity test kit. Don't know if she saved this ID card, so I guess I will. I'm going to do a quick peruse of these instructions. It seems pretty straightforward. But it's been more than an hour since I ate. I'll put anything in my mouth. Okay, put that to the side. Okay, you want to take this one and put it to the side. And this one's for me. That's for her. And this is to send it back. Okay. Okay, take mine. And it says start with the right cheek. Need something to eat. And just so you guys know, I'm doing this because of her. Because as far as I'm concerned, this is a waste of good money. I know who my baby is. Bye.
But anyway, so he received his test Saturday, that same day he got the test. I think that was Saturday he got the test. And then he had a call, a meeting, a family reunion meeting. And after the meeting, he went and got the test. So he took his test. He mailed it off Sunday. And they don't give you tracking. At least I didn't see tracking. But when you activate the kit, you can go on your back office and it'll show you if they received it. So he mailed it off Sunday. I'm expecting to see some updates Tuesday or Wednesday. We in that week, so today is Thursday. There was nothing Monday, nothing Tuesday, nothing Wednesday. I'm like, okay. So now I'm back in my head. They lost the test. I know my go-to. They losing my stuff. So I am trying to come to terms with the fact that I may not. I may have to do this test again, no matter what. So today, this morning, about 7 a.m., I do what I always do. I check everything and I check my status. And it said the test was in the major city next to the city that he lives in. So I'm like, okay, finally. The test has to go to California. So today is Thursday. There's no way I'm going to have any answers this week. I'm thinking the earliest Monday or Tuesday of next week because once they receive it, they ask for 24 to 48 hours. I just don't see it getting there before this week is out and the results this week. They have shown me that my desire to have things done expeditiously is null and void. They ain't working on my time. They working on their time, and I'm gonna have to let that go. So it'll get there when they get there. But I'm waiting on those results because I want to have that conversation with my family. I since have drafted an email to my son to tell him what happened, my story, because my new father to be is very excited about getting to know him. He wants to know him, And so, oh, that reminds me. In the first video, I told you I had 11 siblings, right? He told me 11 siblings. I wrote down 11 siblings. It's actually 9. 2 girls, 7 boys. It's 12 children that he claims as his own, but it's 9 that he biologically, that we know of, right? Because if I'm coming out the woodworks, who else exists? That we are aware of. It was 9, I'm 10. If I am his child, I'm number 10. Number 10, 10, 10. You see my 10, 10. Okay, so just to clear that up too. So anyway, so I don't expect to get that, but I want that so that I can send this email out to my son and give him definitive information. I want to have a conversation with my family as a whole and give them this definitive information. Then I want to talk to my mom. But my intention is to go to her from a place of surety, a place of empathy, love, and I'm so excited, and I hope that she feels the same way that I feel and don't get defensive because sometimes when you are having a conversation that feels like questioning, I'm not questioning her. I don't have the luxury to question her, but I do want to know the story of me. I think that's fair. I'm asking you, is that fair? What do you guys think? Do you think it's fair for me to want to know my story? I knew the other story, and each day I'm updated on that story. Well, not each day, each year as time progresses, I always got updates, so I can regurgitate that story back and forth. I can write a novel about it. So I want to know my story, my new story, the new addition to my story, this insert, whatever you want to call it. I just want to know my story. And like I told you guys before, I'm not sitting at the seat of judgment. It's just, I have no interest in judging her whatsoever. And Mom, whenever you do watch this, I love you. And whatever your reasons are, I don't want you to feel embarrassed, shame, or any of that. Whatever your reasons are, the same way you protected us, I will protect you. I'm never going to change my love for you. I just want to know me. Like, tell me, girl, what happened? So that's where we at with that. So today is Thursday. We still haven't received the test as of today's date, and I'm waiting on the test. So now you have the updates on where we stand up until this point. Have I talked to him? Absolutely. If I don't call that man by 9 p.m. and I'm not working, he is going to be calling my phone like, don't make me come to where you at. He wants to hear from me. Every day he shares more information. He shares with me pictures. He sent me a picture just recently of a young lady that pictures probably was in the late 50s, early 60s, or maybe even earlier. I don't know. But the woman looks just like me. This expression here is the expression she had on her picture. And I actually did a side by side, and I may share that with you guys. I'm not ashamed. And it does favor me. And then I went to my cousin Carnetta's page and looked at her picture, and I'm like, God, that looks like a. I have a photo for one of the earlier dates that me and my husband took before I locked my hair for the first time, and it looks just like me. It could be me. It could be me. She's so beautiful. I'm not saying I'm as pretty as she is, but it literally could be me. And so those are those updates. So let's talk about where we go from here. I hope to have some real time updates with you guys. If not, I would definitely make sure I'm recording it. So when we do get those results, I will record them so that you guys can see some real reactions. And then get it uploaded as fast as possible. I do work on other podcasts, editing and producing other people's work. Um, and then I work, and then I do whatever else. So I'm going to do my best to make sure you guys get this out in real time, because I have to temper myself, because I'm super, super, super like 100% excited about this. So I got to bring it down. And that's it. So I'll try to have these out for sure at least once a week, and maybe more often as need be, but you at least get some type of update with me each week. But what I need you to do is like, comment, and subscribe. I don't mean that as a cliche. I need you to like my video. I need you to, because the likes tell me if I'm on the right track. I need you to comment, because you are telling me what you want to know, how I'm doing. And then the last part, I need your help. Like, I've never been in this place before. Listen, if that DNA test, if that DNA test comes back the way that he expects it, what do I do? So he added me. Golly, this video is already 35 minutes. Like, I'm trying to hurry up and tell y'all this part of the story, and then we're going to go. He added me to his Facebook for his direct children. He just added me to it. He didn't introduce me. He just added me to this group. So I'm like, oh my God, this man threw me up under the bus. So I just did a hi, thank you for the ad. You know, those cheesy messages. Look forward to meeting you guys. And then he also added me to a Facebook group that is his mother's children and descendants of her. And I did the same kind of message. But what do you say to a group of people that didn't know you as exist, that you did not know you exist? What do you say to them? What's the icebreaker for that? Because some may be defensive, like, well, what she want? Where she come from? You sure that's your baby? She just want this, I don't know what side of the bed these people are getting ready to come to me as. And how do I take that? If some of them reject me, how do I take that? Even if they embrace me, what do I do? Like, I am 52 years old, have lived 52 years without these people. How do I call him dad? How do I call them sister, them brother, when I already got brothers and sisters from two sides of a family already? Like, I do not know what to do. I don't know how to navigate this. I'm not emotionally prepared to navigate this. I just know that I'm happy and I'm excited this is happening. But I need your help, especially for those of you that's been through this or something similar. And even if you just have some type of empathetic answer for me, please help me to navigate through this, because I am a fish outside of water. I don't know what to do. And you can tell because I'm super excited. I don't want to mess this up. I want them to like me. But if they don't like me, what do I do? I don't want to say, should I care? But I don't know what to do. So please like, comment, subscribe, put in your notification. So that, because I'm going to put this podcast on a timer, so you have 24 hours to get ready for it, so everybody get a chance to know that it's coming. And I'm gonna do that for all the rest of them. I may have some that's live. I don't know. I may get a chance. My intention is to get to him. I hope that we can do this face to face, but you would actually see me meet him for the first time in person. So I'm definitely going to do that one. All right. So see you guys soon. Again, like, comment, subscribe. Comment, subscribe, put on your notification. Let me know. Am I okay? Am I doing okay? How to improve this? What do you want to see? Talk to me, okay? And I look forward to talking with you. Next update should be the DNA results. I feel like Maury Povich. You are the father. You're not the father. We gonna find out who my daddy is, y'all. All right, talk to you soon. Love you. Love the DNA girl. I'm out.
Air doctor, keep them crazy.